Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the vlog where I'm starting at basically nothing and attempting to grow a company to the $100,000 in revenue mark within the next 12 months. Obviously, at this point, that is a goal and something I have not accomplished yet, so who knows how this will end. For those of you that don't know, in order to make that happen, I left my nice, cozy engineering job, sort of. I worked out a deal with my boss to go part-time, and so now I'm working there part-time as I'm focusing on designing the everything full-time. So I do have some money to aid me through this transition. This week was the first week of getting that reduced paycheck. And man, it's rough. I mean, it was a good job, but it was a good job because it was an easy job, not a good job because it paid so much. And we are already living really tight with my regular paycheck from that job. So these reduced paychecks are, I know I'm gonna have to supplement with my savings just to, buy groceries, pay the bills, have a house, etc. It's not very hot today, but it is a little wet. It's just kind of misting on me. I have not done a great job at exercise over the last couple of days. Today is Wednesday, and basically ever since the weekend, I was very busy over the weekend. I spent most of the time driving, and I went to a big convention, and it just killed my schedule completely from a combination of being worn out and weird hours. So on Sunday, we spent about 6 hours driving, and I got to sleep really late. So today is me getting back into my schedule for the first time. I'm already running way late. I would have liked to be at this point an hour ago, but again, because my schedule's all so screwed up, I didn't get to bed until late last night, which made me wake up late today. But I don't know, we're getting back into the routine. I've got about a half an hour before my dad shows up to finish the mini split installation. I don't think I'm gonna have to shower after this workout because I'm just gonna get sweaty then. And it's really not that hot out, so I'm not gonna be drenched like I was the last couple days. I'm really glad to have that AC installed. I don't know if I've said that, but it's really nice. It is just a few hours later. I spent a little while moving the wood that was here and then also clearing out the wood that was over here. So now I have this space clear. I did find these two nice sheets of, I think it's melamine, is that the term? I don't know. Hardboard that I can use to skin the tabletop over there, just to give me a better surface. And then also I worked with my dad a little bit outside on the mini split, but at this point it's just basically tidying things up, which he is much better at than I am anyway, and also it's not really a multiple person job. And then the big thing is I redesigned my carabiner. So I got rid of the decorative slots that were here and here, and then replaced them with some skeletonization. So now it all kind of has the same design language all the way through. I'm not convinced about the balance. It feels a little top heavy, and I don't know. There might be some little tweaks in the spacing of these. I might take this one and split it into two there, or add a second one down here. I don't know. But the biggest change is because I don't have that little decorative slot, all of these holes are going all the way through, which means this is now a one operation part, and I don't have to flip it, which is where we were running into a lot of the issues. So I can get twice as many off in one run of the fixture, which is gonna be amazing from a production standpoint. Assuming it works, which the only way to know is to test it. So I guess that's my goal for the rest of today, is to do some actual prototyping. I just finished up the cam for this first operation here. Well, the only operation now, since these are now one-op parts. Basically just a whole lot of titanium slotting. There's nothing fancy going on, and it is exactly one tool path to do this entire part. It's just, it's just broken up into all these different slots. But over here on the tree, just one tool path to do all these slots. And I don't know, I'm hoping this will work. I can't predict how the material is gonna warp as I cut it, but at least in theory, I like this.
So let's just hit go and see if it wants to cut in the right place. If it's trying to cut even remotely closely, then it'll work fine. It'll either be off by a mile or dead on. And I think we're good to hit start. Oh, it's cutting. We're slotting. It seems to be working really well. It sounds really good too. It's done. Looks pretty good. Finishes look better than I was getting before. I think thanks to this little hold down screw. Let's take it out. Okay, promising. It does not look particularly warped. Maybe just a little bit. Oh yeah, there is some weirdness here. Let's see if it works though. Hey! So it works. There is some weirdness in the machining, but this is functional. It's not quite as stiff as I would like. It's more loose than some of my other ones were. But I can fix that by moving this slot right here, or that rib. It's super lightweight. It weighs nothing. Yeah, some of the machining's not super pretty, but I can deal with that. The biggest issue is it looks like it grabbed the part some right here on this corner. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get a video that shows that, but it does work. Also, this back wall's really thin. Oh no, it's just thin right there. Huh, okay. So I need to figure out why that popped up a little bit. This bottom wall is thinner than this top wall. That may be due to the way I'm holding it, and inconsistencies in the thickness of the blank could be causing that, because they are just laser cut. The top feels stiff. The spine feels stiff. Yeah, and just the opening mechanism opens. Oh, that is... Oh gosh, that is such a relief. I have details to work out, but we're 90% of the way there. This time, at least, I have 24 more attempts to get it right, as opposed to the first time where I only had 5 attempts. So I want to make it just a little bit stiffer. Nice thing is for my simulations, I know I can do that by moving this little rib right here. And if I just move it down, this whole spring gets stiffer. So I'm just going to shift that until I'm happy with how it feels. Okay, so here's the new design. I pushed that little rib down about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or something, or 1/4 inch. And the stiffness, and this doesn't really mean anything, but for the same amount of force, it was going back 3/4 of an inch. Now it is going back 0.7 of an inch. So there's 0.05 difference in the amount that this travels when pushing with the same force. I don't know what that difference is gonna feel like in practice here, but it shouldn't be nothing. The only thing I can really do is test it. So I made the design change. The only other thing I did was back down on my depth of cut just by like 20%, just to see if that makes any difference. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. Let's see if we did any better this time. The opening force is better. This is a lot more like my original prototypes. I don't have that little weird notch here at the bottom that I got last time, so that's good. The only problem is this inside wall here is really thin, and that's true basically all the way around. Though it's the top right here is also a little thin. So maybe my work coordinate system needs to be shifted a little bit, but I think it's more to do with the size of my blank than anything. Let's see. Let's measure one of these. Let's see, 183, 185, 183. Okay. And then what does this expect? So if we measure this here, it's expecting 190. So yeah, my blanks are too thin. That's what's causing my problems. I just measured 10 random ones. Most of them are right at 183. I didn't find any that were less than 183, though I found ones, well, I found one that was as big as 185. So basically I'm working with between 183 and 185, whereas my CAD says 190. So I think I need to shrink my carabiner in CAD so that the computer knows what reality looks like. Now, if I designed everything right, I should be able to just change this number right here to 183 and hit enter. And hopefully this doesn't break my whole carabiner. It only kind of broke my carabiner. There's literally a piece moved from here to here. Okay, so some more tweaking needs to be involved, but we're close. So here's something interesting. I made it a little bit stiffer just because I didn't quite like the feeling of it before. And I reran my simulation and it went way farther with the same amount of force. And I think that's because I made the walls thinner. I made them closer to reality, which apparently has a really big effect on the amount of force to open it. So this gets the simulation closer to reality, and so it kind of makes sense that it was so easy to open. With those wall sizes dialed in a little bit better, it's more realistic now. Garbage in, garbage out. There you go, you see that little gap right there? That's accounting for the change in wall thickness. I'm about ready to run it again. The only machining change I made on this was that I forced it to machine this big pocket right here, the hinge pocket, before it goes and does all the little pockets. This is where the fixture has the least rigidity, and so I want to do that first before I remove this other material here. Prototype number 3 for today, number 8 total. Let's see how it works. So this one's getting pretty darn close, though I think this one warped a little bit where the other ones didn't. So I don't know why that happened. Some of those slots are a little bit offset. The bottommost wall seems thin, and the topmost wall also seems thin. So I don't know what that's about. Otherwise, we're looking pretty good. So the next thing I learned is that these are all between 10 and 12 thou too short in this dimension. So I need to account for that in my 3D model as well. That explains why the top wall and the bottom wall are too thin. And that change breaks my whole model. Well, I suppose this is an improvement. It's the right height now. This is definitely not the best modeled model that I've ever made. Closer? There's another one. This one is really, really close. The top wall here is still very thin. The bottom, however, looks fine. And then also the right side wall here and here are very thin for some reason. And again, we have a little bit of warping there, so it doesn't quite lock up right. But we're getting close. Don't know what happened here or how to fix it, but I don't know. It's closer at least. I sandblasted this prototype so I could get a better look. There were just some minor burrs and stuff on there that I wanted to get off. I'm not quite sure what the problem is right now. I think I'm going to take a minute and look at this one and measure and see what I can figure out. But I'll do that off camera and we'll revisit this later. I got a call from one of my clients that I do freelance design work for, and they want to do some design work tonight. I can't show any of that, so I think I'm just going to call the video here. Thank you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.